After Charlie Kirk was violently murdered, a notable phenomenon occurred in the subsequent reporting. I'm Steve Sandford, you're watching Dominion Report. I had no plans to cover the Charlie Kirk story at all. He was an American activist, he was murdered by an American citizen, and it happened in the United States. Plenty of outlets have covered the details, so I initially thought there wasn't much for me to add to the conversation. But then I noticed something that no one really seemed to be addressing. Before I get to that, I have three important points to make, and actually the third one is the most important of the three. One is that nobody deserves to be violently murdered, no matter their opinion on anything. I condemn political and ideological violence of all kinds. Two is that Charlie Kirk was a despicable human. He was anti-civil rights, he was a misogynist, he was a bigot, and he stoked outrage and violence for political gain and for profit. And the third point is that both points stated above can be true at the same time. Before you come at me in the comments, just keep that in mind. Okay, with that said, Charlie Kirk was shot in a public venue, so many people who follow news or social media pretty much heard about it right away. And most people learned that he died from the shooting about 4 hours later when Donald Trump announced it on social media. Later that day, Donald Trump released a 4-minute video filmed in the Oval Office talking about Kirk's death. In it, he said, "For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now." The radical left. Later, in an NBC interview, Trump doubled down on that, blaming the killing on a group of radical left lunatics. He also said, "The problem we have is on the left. When you look at the agitators, when you look at the scum that think so badly of our country, American flag burning all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right." Vice President J.D. Vance was delivering a speech in Michigan, and he said, "We reject the crazy left-wing radicals that gunned down our friend Charlie Kirk." Nancy Mace, Republican congressperson from South Carolina, said, "Democrats own what happened today." Derek Van Orden, Republican congressman from Wisconsin, said, "The left and their policies are leading America into a civil war. They want it." Attorney General Pam Bondi said that Kirk was killed by left-wing radicals. Laura Loomer, performance artist for people who don't realize that she's a performance artist, said, "The left are terrorists." On the social media site that he grossly overpaid for, Elon Musk posted, "The left is the party of murder." FYI, Elon, the left is not actually a party. And here's a really good one. The Wall Street Journal ran a story that claimed that the bullet casings were inscribed with pro-trans messaging and implied that the shooter was a trans person. Now, as a side note here, in a hypothetical world where it actually was a trans person who accurately made that single 200-yard shot, clearly that suggests there's no reason that they can't capably serve in the military. Hashtag just saying. But here's the thing. All of these statements were made before anything was known about the person who did this. And then the guy was caught. Actually, he wasn't caught. He was turned in by his family. And then we learned a bit more about him. Now, we still don't understand the full motivations behind this. We do know that the person in custody grew up in a full MAGA household where all the family members are Republicans and all the members of the family, including him, are avid practitioners of the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment. Not a Democrat, not a trans person, not the left. Gun-owning Republicans. And about those inscribed bullet casings, we found out that those casings had the letters TRN on them, which is what led to the Wall Street Journal to suggest that the shooter was trans. Any of my viewers who are regular gun hobbyists already know where this is headed. TRN is the stamp of Turin Ammo, a well-known and popular manufacturer of ammunition. That company stamps all their casings with those letters in the factory where they're made. So, about that particular issue, here's a question. Do you think the investigators are that incompetent that they don't know bullet casing manufacturing stamps? Or was somebody being purposely deceitful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So what can we learn from all of this? When a significant event happens like this, the initial reaction by the legacy media is to try to fill the information vacuum as quickly as possible. One way that they do this is to interview politicians, notable personalities, and people directly or indirectly involved in the event itself. Those who have an agenda and who lack integrity can pretty much say anything, unchecked at least in the short term, to move their agenda forward. And that's especially if it's a hateful or harmful agenda. They know that the legacy media will run what they say, and they know that by the time they are fact-checked, it will be days, weeks, or even months later, and the news cycle will have moved on to other topics. As consumers of media, we must be aware of this scenario. When a significant event has happened, but before we know the actual details, bad actors will take advantage of the chaos to spread their misinformation. Do not fall for it, and do not share it. Be patient. Wait until the facts are known before jumping to conclusion based on a tweet or a Facebook meme that happens to fit with your personal narrative. Friends, I'm working on another Charlie Kirk-related video, specifically on how one Canadian politician assisted with the online targeting of an independent journalist. When that video becomes available, I'll put a link below. Of course, you could also just subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell.